So today, gonna do something a little bit different. I think some of the stuff I've done in the past, where I'm kind of building out some new content for the game, is a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to consume, and so I thought we would focus on that today. And so I'm kind of tracking towards a playtest for the game right now, and I don't know when I'm going to be done. I would really like to have it done before the end of the year and get it into people's hands and start getting some good feedback that I can iterate on and sort of drive to the finish line next year. Before the playtest, I want there to be at least a couple of abilities that you can unlock for each of the 8 positions in the game. And so I have a number of abilities already. These are sort of the icons for them here. But so far, like one of the favorite characters, I think for a lot of people is the caster, which is sort of like the black mage inspired character, and it only has a fire ability right now. So I thought we would give him a frost ability, like a snow ability today. So that's what we're going to work on. Last time I also did start working on sort of a debug tool. I don't even know what state the game is in right now. I probably should have run it before the stream, but uh, uh, there's basically um, a new mode that I put in called like a full control mode. And I made a little bit more progress on this after the stream on Friday, but essentially you can do things like pick up a unit and like move them around. I can also now rotate which way they face, and I can also give them the ball, which is nice, and then like still move them around, that kind of thing. And so I'm going to use this to be able to set up like test scenarios for myself, uh, and like store off save states and that kind of thing. It's not full featured yet. I need to be able to modify a lot more, like several more properties, but we might try to use this today too when we're building the new ability. So yeah, let's just get into it. And I appreciate you spending some time here today. If you're hanging out, let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. So first things first, we have a bunch of abilities here listed in the enum. And so we'll just go ahead and start adding a new one. I'm going to call it Frost. And then we have this unit action builder provider that I still need to break apart. But this is a huge long statement that basically just says for each of the types to give it a builder. And this goes deep into the whole ability system that I built. There's a bunch of different interfaces and like plugin points and things like that to get all the abilities to work. So I put a lot of thought into it, but the good news is that now, as I'm actually building out the content, it's relatively straightforward to get most of what I want working. So the closest ability to this frost ability is flame. So we'll kind of start with that. We'll call it frost. It's going to be a magic ability. This number right here is like how powerful it is. So how much magic damage it's going to deal. And I don't want it to be quite as strong as the fire ability. And you'll see why here in a second. But I'll just start with like 20 instead of 30. I think a standard ability range probably makes sense. And we'll leave this flame particle in for now, but we're going to need to change some of the particle effect animation to be more of a frost. And then we're going to have one other effect as well, but we'll come back to that in a second. So I just kind of want to get a template up and running so I can quickly like run the ability over and over again and test out changes and stuff like that. So that looks good. Let's go into Unity for a second and update some localization settings for this. So first thing is, let's build out a unit action hint for it. So these are the hints that show up in the upper left-hand corner that describe to the player what the ability does. So this one will say summons a uh, small blizzard dealing damage to targets and inflicting the inhibited ability, the inhibited status, and inflicting inhibited status. We'll smooth that out as we go. So inhibited is going to be a status that essentially lowers their range of movement. I think probably by 1 to start, but if that doesn't seem intense enough, then maybe 2. So we'll just start with that for now. And then under strings, I also need, like there's something like the action name, I need to add that. So this will be Frost action name. And these keys are, they might look like magic, but basically I have a utility. I can show it real quick. I have this really cool utility. I should maybe post this online. But it's called like a localized enum. And the idea is that for any kind of enum, you can give it like just a single suffix, and this will generate a lookup key for you based on an enum for getting, like turning that into a localized string that you can display. And so I have a bunch here for various things, but a few here for like unit action type. So this unit action name. So from anywhere in the code, I can just call string resources.get unit action name key and then pass in like the enum for the ability, and it'll give me the actual localized display name. Or actually, it gives me the key, right? And then the text object in Unity knows how to actually localize that. So, and then similar with the action hint here. So it just sort of formalizes that for me by pattern, as long as I don't screw it up. But if I screw it up, it'll give me a big nasty message. So, and since this is English, it's just going to be called Frost. There'll be something else in other languages. That's all I need for now. Okay, so that handles the display text and the hint. But I'm also going to need an icon to go with that. So for that, we'll switch over to this like vector tool that I have. And for a lot of these, I'm sort of like I'm not great at this, but there's a bunch of really good material icons from Google online that give me something reasonable without too much effort. And so I'll just do that for now. I'm curious if we should do like a snowman or just snow, like a snowflake. I think probably just a snowflake for now is good. All right, let me get this into a good spot. Bear with me. Where are my icons? Here we go. There, it showed up. So here's like a little snowflake. And this sprite sheet also needs to, it matches the order of that enum that we just put in a bit ago. Oh. That might be kind of big, but let's try it. And then all these are just a white fill. And I do have a drop shadow on here as well. And I think I set it to, is it to 2 and 2? How is this one? Yeah, 2 and 2. So just kind of subtle. I'll probably try to formalize that a bit more at some point. Okay, so there's our snowflake icon. Let's go ahead and export this. That's not the right spot. Here's the right spot. Okay, so I'll just overwrite that texture that I already have. And then we need to do one more thing, which I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait to get rid of this stuff. This is just a hard-coded list that says, okay, based on whatever position the unit is, here's what special ability they can use. So everybody can use move and tackle. And then they get one special ability at the moment based on what position they are. And then everybody else can also do pitch and done. And it's a pain right now because whenever I want to test a different ability, I have to come in here and modify this whole thing. And it also doesn't let me set up any like fun quests or missions yet and say, okay, here's like these characters and this one has this ability, this one has this ability, etc. So I'll be coming back and actually getting that working at some point. All right, so with that, we should be able to get the caster should be able to cast something called Frost. It's going to look identical to Flame, but it won't be quite as powerful. So let me see. Oh yeah, okay, these are both set to human. That's good. Let me check one quick thing. All right, perfect. So let's see. Okay. So where is our mage? He's down here. Okay. So I think what we can do is just actually let's fast forward to the mage's turn, I guess. Hey, that looks really nice. It's like I've done this before. All right, I want to move him like, I don't know, like right here. And let's rotate him like that. And then I want to try to actually save this. I'll save it to slot 3 for now. And then I have like this quick load feature that I built a week or two ago. Awesome. So that works. And now let's see what this frost ability does. Summons a small blizzard, dealing damage to targets and inflicting inhibited status. Yeah, so that's a good starting point. Okay. What part should we do next? So we can do like the particle effect and sort of the animation, or we can actually get it working how we want first. And so it's actually mostly working how we want. We just need to add sort of a new status, which I haven't done in a while. And there's some cobwebs probably in that code, but we can explore that. It shouldn't be too bad. That's probably better. Let's do that. Hello, Matt. Thanks for joining. How are you doing today? I know we said hi earlier, but feels different. Feels different on air. What do you think of the new chat window? All right. Yeah, let's add this. So good and busy. Yeah. Well, thanks for taking some time to stop by. It's a pleasure to have you here. Good. Yeah, it looks good. I actually wasn't confident it was working because you're the first person to use it. I tested it out last week, and then I had it on my stream on Friday, but it was crickets on Friday. It was just me. So I'm happy to see it's working. All right, so with this ability system that I've created, for each ability, I can sort of give it a list of what's called ability effects. So this is the first ability effect here, which is just like a standard damage one. And so what I want to do is add a second uh, effect that inflicts the new status. So I have a couple of other examples of this that we can draw from. Like here's a good one. So this pull ability causes a slowdown. Oh yeah, no worries. I know everyone's busy. A lot of people were busy Friday, like, and there was like crazy weather happening for a large part of the country as well. Yeah, there's never any pressure. I'm just doing this for fun. And yeah, anytime you can tune in is great, but there's never any pressure. All right, so we have an enum for statuses, so let's just add a new one called inhibited, I guess. And then this number here, I think, says like how many turns it'll be active for. So I think maybe 1 or 2. I want it to be like, I want it to be pretty powerful. So what's this balance damage effect animation? Slowdown effect. This looks pretty gross. What is this doing? Yeah, so each effect can have its own animation. So I think this is like what, you know, like when you're casting like haste or something, it'll say like, I don't know, haste, like poisoned, etc. Like a little floaty text that comes above. But I don't know why it's a little bit more generic, I think, than that. What are my other? There's effect toast message, fumble effect animation, lob ball, swap effect toss. I don't know that there's anything that really matches what we probably want, because this is already going to damage it, and so for this inhibited, we probably just want it to like have a little toast message that comes up above that just says inhibited. Let's see what this slowdown effect is. Oh, it just plays a sound. Yeah, this is not great. So I think for now, I'm just going to say new no op effect animation, just like don't do anything for this part. So this will handle the actual damaging. This will handle the new status. And they're both, right now, they're just always going to work. I'm trying to err on the side of like trying to make things work more often than not, and only introducing randomness when it feels necessary. Okay, so let's actually get this status working. And for that, I'm going to do a clever trick of saying where all I handle hurry up. Okay, so this is internal field state. So this is like really like the low level sort of like brain of the game that holds all the current state, like everybody's current health, the current placement of the ball, the current placement of all the units, what direction they're facing, whose turn it is, all that kind of stuff. And so when I activate a status, yeah, and I kind of want to make this generic, but when I activate a status, it comes in here and it modifies this unit status thing, and it keeps track of like the count. So I can just do kind of copy all of this stuff, inhibited turn count, Is hurry up active? I'm going to need this in a little bit. Is inhibited active? I'll just check the turn count for greater than 0. Copy constructor. The copy constructor is important because I have this whole rewind feature in the game. And in order to get that to work, I had to make it really easy to duplicate the entire current state of the game in a new spot in memory. And so if I miss anything here, then it like causes these weird bugs with rewind or even like serializing, like saving and reloading the game. Okay, there's activate hurry up, activate slowdown. So I need an activate inhibited. Whoop. Oh, yeah, this is... I can tell I didn't think this through a whole lot. So what I want to do is have, like basically each one of these, where I do activate hurry up, what it's trying to do is say, okay, now hurry up is active for this many turns. And if there was any slowdown, like that's no longer active. But like this needs to go through all of the other statuses, and same thing here. So I at least need a helper method called like reset statuses. And this will be responsible for going through and setting everything to 0 first. Oops. And I'm going to want to call this before I update the turn count, because otherwise it would just reset it to 0. Okay, that looks good. So activate inhibited turn count, boom. How many turns to activate inhibited for? And then burn down turn counts. I think I want to make this a little bit better too. So you know what I should do? Actually, I have an idea to make this all better. I'll maybe come back to it though. Okay, so I want to burn these down, and then set it to the max. Max is 0 and hurry up. That way it'll never go negative, although it's not going to let me do that with a byte, is it? Is there something on byte? Nope. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. I'll fix this maybe here in a minute if you're interested to see how this could be done. Actually, a lot of this stuff could be done a lot more easily. Let's just get this working. Okay, so that'll burn down. So this is called at the end of every turn. And so if any unit has any status, then this will kind of help keep it progressing. All right. Next, this is something I haven't covered before. So I'm doing custom binary serialization for all the data in the game because I wanted to keep everything as small as possible and also like have full control over it. And so I have a really pretty basic pattern in an interface called binary serializable. So anything that wants to implement this has to provide a version and then a serialize and a deserialize method with these .NET utilities, basically. Actually, they might even just be part of C#. I'm not sure. And And so the basic pattern is that if whenever I add a new property, I need to increment the version and then handle like any backwards compatibility issues, essentially. So, uh, and this is really only for me internally right now, but I'm trying to set up like good practices so that in the future, after the game is out, you know, if you're playing a game that's on version 2, right, and you have a save state on version 2, and then I add some new feature that changes how that particular thing is serialized, then I'll still be able to read in your old version and then convert it to the new version after your app update. So it's a lot of work, but as long as you're being diligent about it, then it works pretty good. So first thing I'm going to do here is increment the current version to 3. And serialize is always easy. That's like always forward looking. So I can just add my new inhibited turn count. But here's where it gets interesting. So deserialize, it's always going to read the version first. So deserialize is called, like, think of when you are playing a game and you go to load game or continue. Like that game is going to be calling something like this, deserialize, where it takes your game that's sitting on a disk, reads it in, and loads it. And so that's what's happening here, but it's just for the specific thing of like a unit status. So if it's version 2, then we'll deserialize version 2, which is here. We're just going to leave this in place. And the only thing we need to change here is make sure that there's like a good reasonable default value for the new property. But going forward, for somebody that has version 3, we need a new method. So we'll add a deserialize v3, and we can just copy and paste this. We could call into v2 if we want, which is sort of nice, and we know that it's going to properly set up these two values. And then we do write, write, write for hurry up, slow down, inhibited. So we need to do read, read, read for hurry up, slow down, inhibited. That's how this works. Okay, so that's all that we need. Like I said, I could replace these two lines with deserialize v2, and this would be equivalent. And if I ever find a bug in deserialize v2, then potentially this would be nice. I kind of go back and forth on it though, because it's this is like its own thing. Like v2 is, if we're calling this, then v2 is no longer relevant because this code was serialized with v3. Hope that makes sense. It was weird talking about that while coding it, so I'm like 90% sure I did that right. All right, so this is all looking good. And now, okay, so let's back up a second. So if we go back to this unit action builder provider, we already have this extra status effect action that's going to activate this. So if we go into the details here, when we execute success, this is just going into the field state and calling activate status on that target for that status type with a particular turn count. And then it goes in further here. And this is where we need to actually glue it together. So right now, if I were to call this, I would actually get a crash at runtime. You think I nailed it? I appreciate your confidence, Matt. I have been thinking about how working for so long during the pandemic on Zoom and like doing pair programming and stuff sort of trained me for live streaming. It's been several months since I've done like coding on a Zoom meeting or coding on a Zoom call, but I feel all those muscles just like firing back up again. It's more fun now though. All right, yeah, so we need this glue code here. So this is basically saying, you know, we want to activate this status. So we check which status and then we call the appropriate method. So this is where we just implemented this activate inhibited call. So we actually need to call it now. And yeah, like I said, if I were to run it right now, in fact, I'll just show you. So this is probably going to compile. It does. Let me just make sure. I've had some issues where like not everything gets saved. So this will probably compile, and I can cast flame, and you're going to see a little red message show up in the bottom left-hand corner, although the little music scroll is probably going to cover it up. Let me... nope, that didn't work. What's happening? Ah. hang on. I'm trying to resize the window. There we go. Okay, so now you should be able to see it. So if I cast Frost, it like kind of works, but it like has these errors down here. It says unknown unit status type inhibited, and this is just intended to be a note to me to say, hey, you forgot to actually like do something with this. Most of your coworkers you've only ever seen in a small little square on your screen. How relatable is that? That was definitely true for me by the time I left my job. Do you guys ever do any like retreats or like even like virtual team building? Also, Matt, I'm not sure that you've seen what the bird is looking like these days, what the bird level looks like. Let me show you. I'm just gonna zoom the camera out a little bit. It's flying up in the clouds. And there's an ever-present rainstorm underneath it. You've met a few in person. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, the movement, it's like real subtle. It's just like all it's doing is just rotating in place just a little bit to kind of provide a sense of movement. I couldn't like go so far as to have it like flapping its wings because it just wouldn't make sense. Like everybody would be shaking all over the place. But it's pretty cool. I had to fix a couple of bugs to make sure that the units stayed attached to the bird and like the tents stayed attached in the ball and everything. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty cool. Kind of an interesting biome for a tactics game. Okay, so let's actually implement inhibited. It's in a glide, yeah. Okay, activate inhibited works now. There's still one thing missing if you've been following along, which is that it actually has to do something. We have to check that property somewhere and do something with it. That's where this comes in. So see where we check is hurry up active. Oh, that's quite a delay. I wonder. If I have the stream up on my phone, it's probably quicker. Let me hop on the YouTube chat on my phone and see if it's better. Okay, Matt. Go ahead and type something and I will let you know when I see it on my phone and when I see it on the stream. Okay, I just now saw your chat. This is just so you know, when you ask me a question, it takes me forever to answer. Actually showed up on the chat pretty quick over there. So I think what we're seeing is just the lag of my video feed. coming across. And I'm using something called Restream. And so I stream to that first, and then it streams out to YouTube and Twitch. So it's more about me just being in the past, I think. All right. Something is starting to slow down on my machine. It's Unity. All right, I need to restart Unity. Yeah, sorry for the delay. I don't expect you to answer right away to anything. I just want to be a good host. That's all I'm trying to do. This is still kind of chugging. Okay, is this working now? I'm gonna pull up my monitor real quick and just see if there's anything else kind of stealing time away. Yeah, it's all looking mostly okay. Oh, cursor UI view service, what's that? There's something that's not responding. I promise I'll get back to the game in a second. Yeah, it's something in Mac OS, I guess, or in Finder. Yeah, it looks like it's maybe recovered. No, it's not. I don't know. We'll see if it happens again. Okay. If for whatever reason the stream goes down, just be patient. I'll post a new one. All right, where were we? Did this actually save the stuff I wanted? No, it didn't. Okay, so yeah, we wanted to actually check this value. So I have this warning. It's like check other positive statuses. It'd be good to clean that up. Probably need to do something with this eventually, but this is the big one right here that I wanted to get. So in all the calculations in the code, it sort of gets, you can imagine it as like each of your characters has like stats, and then there's like stats, and then there's like current stats. So you can think of like your base stats as like whenever your battle is over, whenever you're moving on to the same thing, like those are your stats. But then at any point in time, if you have a status effect, like it's going to modify what your stats are like at that moment. And so that's what this does. And this is what's checking all the different statuses and modifying certain values. And so I can just add an extra conditional here saying if is inhibited active, then actually what I want is I want to modify their move. And we'll drop it down by 1. So this will basically prevent them from going quite as far on each turn. And everybody should have a movement greater than 1, but you know what I might do is just ensure that everybody can move like at least 1 spot in case move goes like negative or something like that, or to 0. Okay, so with this, it actually should be working. It's not going to look awesome, but it should be working. Does the big bird have lore? Yeah, there's some lore, a little bit of lore. I'll cover that here in a second. Oh, I still missed something. Oh, toast message style. Cool, yeah, there's something else here. So this is going to be inhibited in a negative status. I want to really clean all this stuff up. I haven't added a ton of statuses yet, so it's still a little messy. Okay, so the let me try this one more time and see if I can get this working, then I'll answer your question about the bird, I promise. Ah, I'm missing a name here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this. All right. And so now, whenever it's one of these guys' turns, if I go to move, you'll see he can hardly move. So that's pretty awesome. You can imagine, like, if you cast that on the unit carrying the ball, they're gonna be like, what the heck? Let's see how this girl does. Yeah, she only has 1, 2. What's their movement naturally? Oh, it says her move is 1 right now. So this is showing their current stats, not their normal stats, but they both must have a normal movement of 3. And I can confirm that if I go back in time, actually, to before the caster. Yeah, so her movement's 3. His movement's 3. So it's working. That's great. Okay, so the bird. Let me pull up the adventure mode. Will this work? No. And maybe what I'll do, so this is like the world map in progress. I put this together so quickly, just trying to like have a screenshot for the Steam page when I launched it. So it's a little rough and ready, but it looks something like this. And so all these like black areas are going to be levels that you can unlock, and like you'll go to each one for like your next mission and that kind of thing, and take on like the team that's there and all that kind of good stuff. So one of the areas, if you look at the world, is kind of up here in the mountains a little bit, and there's a river that flows down, and then this is a lagoon down here. And the idea is that the bird is like, I don't know, it's like maybe like a deity or something like that, godlike creature. But it sort of floats here at the top of the mountain, and it's raining all the time, and it's basically the water source for the river and the lagoon down here. And the idea for this came to me a really long time ago, and I don't know if it's going to come across, but I can try to. Well, the idea came to me a long time ago because I wrote a song, and I called the song Rain J because I just had this image in my mind of like a big bird flying in the sky that had a rainbow. It was like constantly raining underneath it and a rainbow coming out. And I can try to show it on stream, but it probably won't be very loud. So, but anyway, that's going to be the background music for the level. So I'll get that working soon, and you can hear the song. If you really want to hear it, I can try to get it working right now. So that's the idea. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's some lore. I don't know. I'm just kind of making up everything as I go. But yeah, so now that you've seen that context, you can kind of imagine that you're like up in the sky. There's like just this giant rainstorm happening all the time. I feel like that frost ability, I don't know, the inhibit having like preventing two movement instead of one feels a bit much already. And I haven't even like tried to use it in a game yet. Where was that? Let's just go down by one for now and see how that looks. Okay, so now it's working, but the animation sucks. The animation's not right. So let's fix that. Yeah, we can just build like a new particle effect, at least for part of it. And then I'm thinking that they could like like the character itself should sort of like flash like a very light blue color, like fade into it really quick. And then we can have some sound effects that sound vaguely ice-like or snow-like or something like that. All right. So let's go back to builder provider here. So this particle type flame, let's change this to, I guess, frost. And this is just like an animate magic particle effect. I want to refactor this. There's like a way nicer way to do this that I figured out. Oh no, wait, I can't. Never mind. I do want a default case though. It'll throw one of those like errors for me in case I miss something. Just say unknown magic particle type and $sign here. Magic particle type. Okay, and then I can check for my frost here. I do want to animate damage with this. And instead of flame effect prefab, I need a frost effect prefab. We should probably do something better with these two. There's always more to do. All right, and then this is just going to be frost effect prefab. Okay, so that should all handle the code. This is going to fail to compile because I need to pass it in here. Oh, how funny. Okay. I can just pass in null for now. Yeah, no problem. Good luck with your meeting, Matt. Thanks for stopping by. It's good chatting. All right, so that one should be fixed. And then here is where I can actually hook it up in the editor. Mm. Then I have all these assertions here just to make sure I actually hook stuff up right in the editor. This is just sort of a pattern I always do. Helps me track down issues really quickly. And I can pass them in there. Okay, so this should compile now. And now in Unity, I can actually set it up. And you can all watch me fumble through building a particle effect in real time. So I have a folder here. So let's just duplicate this. Fire one. And what I'm at least going to do is change the color for now. Something like that. So that I can confirm that this is actually working right. So here's that match manager, and this is where I need to pass in the frost effect. Oops. Oh, I named all those other ones particle system. Okay, so now if I run this, we should see that it's like slightly blue. Oh, we should fix that issue too. Nope, it wasn't. It's because I didn't change this part here. Yeah, so this needs to be updated to frost for this damage. And let's fix that the status effect localization issue. A lot of tiny elements go into each of these abilities. Hurry up status name. So I need a new one called inhibited status name. Inhibited status name. And I think I have an exclamation point on that. Inhibited. Should be a blue particle. Nice. Okay, that already looks okay-ish. I would like there to be some snowflakes in there too. All right, just a second here. Okay. Yeah, so for some snow particles falling down. I could do like an actual snowflake, or I could just do real tiny little things that look like snowflakes coming down in the particle system. So let's have this looping. Just looks like blue fire right now. Trying to decide. Let's just have them. Let's have them spawn in a circle. The radius is probably about right. Rotation 90. Position. Let's have it up, maybe even a little higher. Oh, not 22, just 2. And then what else do I have here? Velocity over lifetime. I don't think we need that. Let's just have some like gravity. Start size 1. Size needs to be smaller, I think. Max particles needs to be way higher. And then let me also, I want to offset maybe like x by 1 and then have a velocity, I guess, like kind of blowing in on them like that. Start lifetime. Something like that looks good. Let's up the emission. What's the size over lifetime doing? Okay. And then color over lifetime. Where's the alpha for this? Whoa, what just happened? Oh, shoot. What is going on? Hang on here. Okay. That's like way too dark. Oh, that's right. Okay, so something like that is kind of what I want. All right, let's save that and see what it looks like in the game here. Appreciate y'all joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Oh, it just never stops. Why did I do that? I think that this is set up to like destroy itself. Yeah, when it's done. So like spawns and runs. Hang on, let's try that again. But yeah, if you have any feedback on the game or what you'd like to see or questions, just let me know. I'm just kind of starting to do this a couple times a week, and if you want to stick around, definitely give me a follow or a like. I really appreciate it. Helps me out, and I'd like to make this a cool space to hang out. So let me know. Let me know what you think. All right. We need to lower this a bit. Where was my shape? So I think this needs to be more like 1. And then probably not over quite as far, like maybe 0.75. Let's see what that looks like. Doesn't look quite like violent enough. I think the gravity makes it look too soft. I think I just want like a harsh velocity. Like kind of sweeping across. Yeah, that looks better. Hmm. What else can we do? The particle itself is too soft too, I think. But it might look okay in game. And like if we have a sound effect, it might be a little bit more convincing. I think the duration is like too long too. Let's see. Yeah, lower the lifetime a little bit, that helps. Double the emission. It still looks so slow in the game. Yeah, okay, that's looking much better. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's okay. I wonder, can I, oh yeah, there's like these burst things. I've never actually used this. When the burst will trigger. Probability 1, let's see. Whoa! It was in there. Well, Weird. Okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I should add some of these in. That will probably help. Let's add like 3. Let's see, what does that look like? Yeah, gives it a little bit more of a, give these like a slightly non 100% chance of going. Okay, that's nice. And then what does the interval do? Here, let me put this back to 1. Repeat the burst every n seconds. I don't understand how that changes what it looks like. I was thinking like it would spread out the burst a little bit, like the duration of the burst. Oh, that's probably good too. Ran it between 2 constants. So let's do like 10 to 25 for that one. We'll do like 20 to 40 for this one. And then maybe like 30 to 40 for this one. Yeah. Looks pretty okay. Let's see what it looks like in the game. Oh, it's weird like how in sync they were. For like having multiple targets. Let me pull this back up. Is there a way I can... The time is always set. I guess it's like you handle that by really lowering the probability. I don't love that though. All right, I might need to keep messing with that. For now, let's leave it. I do want to experiment with, let's see, what did I do for some of the other particles? Yeah, I think it's just like its own thing. So let me export the snowflake as like its own thing. Let's do like 128. And And get rid of the drop shadow. Background transparent, just like that. Okay. Frost particle. May export a PNG here. What did I have to do for hurry up? Default. Okay. And then let me change the, I guess I need a dedicated material for this. I wish there was like sort of a nicer way to just like swap out textures on the same material. I feel like that's often all I have to do. Okay, so let's pick our frost particle tint color. I don't know if this matters a whole lot because we have all the colors being driven from the particle system, and then we'll set that here. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Whoa. uh, it's kind of interesting. Why is it so white looking? Shouldn't it be more transparent? Oops, wrong button. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's just like coming up to white very quickly, so it's just the color. I don't know that we ever want it to be fully. And maybe the emission is too high now that it's a thing. Oh, the size is also like way too big. It's probably part of it. Ah, yeah, there we go. So let's see, what did I do? I changed that. So I think I want the size to be a little bit more random. Yeah, that looks good. And then let me do something here. I want to duplicate that. Make sure this still looks right. And then let me get rid of the particle system on this. I want to have multiple particle systems. So there's frost. And then I want there to be like kind of a fog that comes out too. So this one can actually just go back to that original material we were using. And then I don't want any bursts. The rate doesn't need to be as much. Start size is probably okay, but it needs to be bigger. Might even need to have a size over time. And for this is going to be a sphere. I should have actually just like left the original flame stuff in here. Velocity over lifetime, I don't want there to be any. Color over lifetime. Let me simplify all this. Okay, start at 0. Something like that. And then color is going to be like a gray. What's this looking like? Yep, that is looking better. It's almost a little bit too light, I think. I think it needs to be even bigger. Wow, that really brightens it up. I didn't want that. That's just probably the blend mode. I actually don't hate it though. All right, let's see it all together. All right, the spawn point is too high. The duration is too long. I think the lifetime is a little bit too long too. And I think it just needs to be bigger overall. Size over lifetime. I don't think so. It needs to fade out. That's what's happening. The color needs to fade back out. Wait, that's not what I wanted. Yep. Let me increase the emission back up again. All right, that's looking good. Let's try it. Come on. Sound effect is going to go a long way. I think the clouds are still coming out too high. I want it more down by like their feet, I think. Yeah, that needs to be lowered. Does it just need to be 0? Probably just 0. look at that one more time. That's looking just about right. I think I want the scale of the sphere to be a little bit higher though. Wait, hang on. And why is this rotated? I don't think I need to rotate it. There. Yeah, I think that's it. Cool. All right. Making progress. Making progress. Okay. Next thing is probably a sound effect. Oh man. I think I need a stand for the sound effect. We're going up. Okay. Oh, yeah, let's stand for a little bit. Okay, so I have a bunch of sound effects, and I actually want two sound effects. I guess we're working on this first part, and so I want to find like a wind sound effect. Now, I don't think I have this hooked up to the stream, so you won't hear it. That's okay. Okay, I need... Oh, there are like magic spells too. Dark Portal Wind Effect. Dark Wind Suck. Conjure. Oh, that sounds good. Dark Wind Suck Conjure. The names of these are hilarious. Fear, Confuse, Horror Spell. It sounds like I'm just saying words. Ice Blast Projectile. That is... Ice Spell Forming Shards. You know, that's actually going to come in handy for the second part, I think. Yeah, there's some good ones in here. Is there anything with snow I should check? I think I'm okay. All right, hang on. I'm going to take a quick break and be right back. I'm back. Get my brace back on. Okay, so I found a couple good sound effects. I also have this whole second part of the animation I want to do that I haven't done yet, so I might try to grab and integrate all the sound effects that I think I need real quick like. Music got a little bit loud. Okay. So I found one that was called, it had like a really funny name. What was it? It was something like Dark Wind Suck Conjure. That's why I turned it up. Okay, so I definitely want that one. I'm gonna make a little landing zone in Unity here. Sound effects, nature. Let's add a new folder. For frost. Okay, Dark Wind Suck Conjure, you're coming in. And then I want to get, there's like these nice ice freeze ones. For the second part, when they're getting inhibited, I want to have it play like while it looks like they're kind of freezing up. Oh, and then there's like a shard breaking at the end. It could be good. I know you all can't hear this. You're just gonna have to trust me. Oh, that's good. And then, let's see, while they're freezing, forming shards, is that what I wanted? Yeah. I can't tell if I want this. It's probably one. I'm just gonna grab both of these just in case. Okay. Can I play these in here and you'll hear them? Is there a way? I don't see it. Oh, you'll hear it soon enough. So let me get all these set up how I want. And then I think I've covered the sound effect system a little bit on the stream before, but I'll go into it again. So let me open up, let's see, vocal effects. So I have a whole enum here. So I want one for like, I'm gonna call it Frost Wind, Frost Freeze, and then Frost Shatter. Sort of the three effects that I want. So I'm going to need 3 of these sound effects here. So Frost Wind, Frost Freeze, and Frost Shatter. And then in Awake and pretty much every single one of my prefab objects or whatever, I have a whole bunch of assertions, making sure that I set everything up correctly in the editor. I don't know if other people have this issue. If I don't do this, then I don't know. This just helps guide me to issues quickly. Shatter. Okay, so this will just make sure I actually have those set up. And then the last thing I need to do is just a mapping between these. So Frost Wind, Frost Freeze, and Frost Shatter. Okay. And then, so that actually all should work. And now let me open up the prefab. And so I just need to duplicate this. So frost, wind effect. And then this is where I give it dark, wind, suck, conjure. Frost, freeze effect. Frost, shatter. So for freeze, I was thinking it was this impact one, I think. And then the shatter is going to be one of these two. I think the first one sounded better. Oops. All right, and then those assertions are going to catch this right here that I didn't set these. So set these here. I remembered this time. Okay, so now all that should work. And I can actually code up the game to play those sounds. Maybe. All right, let's go back to this guy here. So let's get the wind working first. So it really needs to be a part of this particle effect animation. And I think that this might already be playing a sound effect. Yeah, right here. So if it's frost, then I can play the frost wind. I'm not sure if this is going to come through on the stream, but let's try it. It worked. It was really slow though. Let me listen to that one more time. Oh yeah, it takes a while to get going. Maybe there's a better one. Just kind of want some wind. Oh, here we go. Wind blizzard. Airy. Want blast. I gotta stop the music. Oh, that's so long. Are there any like short versions of this? Oh, that one's not bad. All right, let's try this one. All right, music back. kind of what I want. All right, and then for the next part, instead of this no op effect animation, I'm just going to have like a dedicated frost animation. To be specific, let's call it frost inhibited effect animation. And it's going to be pretty similar to something like this. Frost inhibited effect animation. All right, let me compile this so Unity picks it up. Okay, so it's going to need battle animator, shake probably. I don't need slowdown effect. Yeah, I guess miss is fine. That's not going to actually be used though. Right now, this spell is always going to work. Yeah, so I'm ready to go back down. So basically, want to flash the like the emission of the unit, like make them look like they're kind of freezing. So I might need a new method on animator. So let's so like animate unit freezing, I guess. Need a callback. Implement this down here. So the representation unit behavior, I guess. I have this provider that can get me sort of like the mono behavior for the model object. And so here I'm just going to say like animate freeze will be a new method, and it'll take a callback. Move that up here. Animate, 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 animate. So I want to do a couple of things with this. Like 2 simultaneous animations. Almost all my animations are programmatic. So the first one is I want to slow down the animator all the way to 0. So to do that, I'll have start coroutine. I have this utility called dynamic animation that lets me animate sort of like any value I want from any value to any other value. And let me do like original speed equals animator.speed. And I want to go from the original speed to 0. Duration is going to equal, I don't know, it needs to be pretty quick. And I'll move that into a constant here in a bit. Easing type, probably don't want it to be gradual and like speed up. Probably. So let's try that. And then this is the callback that will do all the animating itself. And then the callback will be something else. So let's start with that. All right. For now, let me just put this in. So it keeps going. Okay, I wanna take this one step at a time. So make sure it's all working. So let me go back to the frost inhibited effect animation. I want this to do animate freeze. Animate using unit freezing. Like that. And then here, instead of this no op, it needs to be a new frost inhibited effect animation. What I'll do, I need to pass in here my dependencies, our battle animator. Okay, so let's try this. Let's test this out first. And then we can add the other effects. Ah, what did I do? Doesn't implement animate unit freezing. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure I implemented that. Did it just not save? Just didn't save. Okay, I was right. Unity was wrong. Oh, yeah, they like slowed down. All the way. Didn't want that, but that does give me an idea. So it's at least calling this. And then, so here I need to set it back. But what I want to do actually is a start coroutine timing utils dot perform delayed action. Maybe give it like a quarter of a second. So with these callbacks, I can just kind of chain together the whole animation. If you're not familiar with how to use actions and functions in C#, I recommend researching that. Super helpful, especially when combined with coroutines. So this will basically just, so it's going to slow down the animator, and then it'll pause for a second, and then like shatter is the idea. So this is just going to wait a quarter of a second and then do the callback. So let's do test that out real quick, make sure that's working the way I want. All right, ready? Here we go. Oh, why didn't it unfreeze them? Oh, because I keep forgetting to reset it. Jeez. I swear I've like written this code multiple times and then it never worked. Okay, original speed. That's what I want. That looks weird with the damage. Yeah, I don't think I have this quite right. Yeah, but they do, they kind of slow down and it hitches for a second, so that's more or less what I want. So while this is happening, I also want to change the emission property on their material. And I have an example of that. Here. So it's going to be something similar to this. Let me just copy all this. Where's my code? Continuously. All right. So that slows them down, and then I need something here. So this is going to go from color.clear to a new color 32. It needs to be pretty close to white, but like a blue color. So what would that be? That would be like 230, 230, and then 255. Do this in cubic to match. All right, and then here's where I want it to like shatter and like shake them. Um, or maybe I want it all like here in this one spot. After that delay. Then I'm gonna exaggerate the timings here just for a minute, like slow them down just so I can see what it looks like. Uh-huh. That was like way too close to white. Didn't look blue at all. Do I have a thing that shakes the unit? Don't. Uh, but I think I have like a damage, animate damage taken. Yeah, I have that, but I kind of want them to shake. I'm probably gonna have to implement that later because this stream is almost over. This stream is almost over because I need lunch. I wanted frost or freeze, so I can at least have a vocal effect layer dot play, match vocal dot shatter. Oh, right. And then before that, when this starts is actually when I wanted to play the freeze sound effect. And then can I just do like animate damage taken? Again there. Let's just see. This is gonna look funny, but let's have that sit for a second too. Still looks very white colored. Cut those both in half. And then do another delayed action here and just pass in the callback. Not bad for 2 hours of work, I think. Um, they need to like not take damage. It's like that needs to be the damage animation, not the first one that I'm doing. So I'll probably need to like merge the two, but that's okay. That shattering sound effect takes way too long. Let me try the other one. And let me also like If I move around the, no, I don't want to move around the order of that. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do something different with this. That's okay. All right, let me run this one more time and then I'm gonna wrap up the stream. So if you're here or if you're watching this later, I just wanted you to know, I really appreciate you checking out the game and checking out these videos. And I hope that you'll stick around by liking and subscribing and following on whatever platform you choose. I'm going to keep doing this. I won't be streaming on Friday this week, but I might try to stream on Thursday instead. So look out for that. And in the meantime, I'll also keep posting. I've been posting like little short form clips from these streams too, and that's been kind of fun to learn about that and how all that works. So you can look out for that too. But yeah, anyway, thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed this. Please leave some comments, feedback if there's anything else you want me to focus on or cover more. I'm happy to dig into and answer questions for y'all. So